Roger Douglas jumped or whether he was pushed. Was he sacked or did he resign?
Well, he was sacked after he told David Lange that he could no longer work with him as leader of the parliamentary team of the Labour Party, i.e. the Labour government. As soon as David Lange had a letter saying that from Roger Douglas, he walked down and said to Roger Douglas, "You're fired. Go now."
This is the man that whose hand and arm David Lange held up after the last election and said, "This is the bloke that did it. He won the election for them. Something's gone terribly astray."
Yes, it's been going astray for more than 12 months now, George. In fact, last December, almost exactly a year to the day, a special package of financial measures was announced by the government. More changes in economic policy and development of the direction they've been going in.
Ray, is it the case that in ideological terms, David Lange is much further to the left than Roger Douglas, and they have, in fact, not just a personal set of differences, but very serious political ones, that he thinks Douglas's policies are just too harsh?
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's what happened with that package. David Lange's been rowing back from it ever since he agreed to it last December. And on a number of occasions, he's literally cut the ground out from under Roger Douglas's feet. Today, in fact, talking to us on Radio New Zealand News, he has said that effectively Douglas is an economic extremist, and economic extremists can't be tolerated any more than extremists from the left of the Labour Party can be tolerated. They're a middle-of-the-ground party and government, and that's why Douglas has gone.
Ray, Douglas himself said yesterday, as I understand it, that a stage has been reached where the conflict between them is tearing the government apart and tearing New Zealand apart. Would you go that far?
Well, it's certainly tearing us apart in terms of things like interest rates. Now, your interest rates are rising. Ours are rising, but not for the same reason. Ours are rising because of uncertainty about the government's economic policy and direction, and whether they'll go on being consistent or go on becoming inconsistent. And so what's happened is interest rates have gone up, the dollar's gone up and down like a yo-yo, and we have great uncertainty. Investment stopped. The start of the recovery has literally ground into the dirt and gone nowhere.
Ray, very quickly, what will happen now? We hear talk of a challenge by Douglas against Lange. We hear the possibility of a third party led by Douglas. Next week, this could be decided within the Labour Party itself. What do you think the outcome will be? Will David Lange survive as leader and Prime Minister?
There's no indication at this stage that there'll be a spill of Lange out of the leadership. He would have the numbers, and he certainly has the initiative at the present time. Douglas has confirmed he will challenge. Tomorrow, the caucus of the Labour Party in Parliament will meet and agree to, next week, vote on the leadership at Lange's request. That will mean Douglas will be definitely a contender. The only person who hasn't put his name up and put his hand up and said what he's doing is a fellow by the name of Mike Moore, who's number 3. Nobody thinks that Moore will finally challenge, so that leaves only Roger Douglas. He will lose. David Lange will be confirmed. And already David Kegel is the new finance minister and a close ally in the past of Roger Douglas, says that the economic policies will go on. He says it will be Rogernomics Part 2, change of direction, not at all. We'll go straight ahead in the way we're going. We will have a bit of a slowdown in the pace, a bit less extremism.
Ray, thanks very much for that, but it could be said that politics in the shaky isles are shaky themselves.
Well, they certainly seem to be shakier than yours at the present time.
Thanks a lot, Ray. Thanks very much.
And we'll be back with the news and weather with Eric.